If the genocide in Gaza stops, then it will lead to the end of other crises and attacks in the region. Netanyahu is under the impression that the solution lies in the war and continuing it, and they are, of course, relying upon the United States. All the leaders in our region believe that if the war stops today, 10 minutes later, Netanyahu will fall, and he won't be able to continue the war without the support of the United States.
Is there a situation in which Iran would get involved and start blocking the shipment of blocking ships in the Straits of Hormuz?
First off, we do care about the maritime security and the shipping safety. Our exports, our oil exports are done through by the sea. So the security of the Red Sea and the Oman Sea and the Persian Gulf are very, very important to us. We benefit from it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to export our oil. Secondly, we have information that these days the Yemenis and the Saudis are nearing a real substantive peace agreement. We believe that when the U.S. got involved in it, and it is not going to be good news for this agreement. We will all benefit from a maritime security, and the Yemenis also believe that. What happened? It has to do with the genocidal war of the Israeli regime against the people of Gaza, and the Yemenis defending the Palestinians. If the genocide in Gaza stops, then it will lead to the end of other crises and attacks in the region.
You didn't answer whether will Iran start involve itself in blocking any ships. I think your answer is no.
We have always been on the positive side of the developments in the region. You should not forget that in the past years, and in order to fight against ISIS in Iraq and Syria and in the region, some of our best military attaches were killed and martyred. The security of the region is our own security.
Do you believe that Hezbollah is going to get more involved in more attacks and counterattacks in Israel?
In the last 100 days, I held talks twice with Mr. Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, the Honorable Secretary General of Hezbollah, 48 hours before the humanitarian ceasefire, the temporary one, in Gaza. In a meeting with Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, I asked him, Mr. Secretary General, if Israel's attacks against Gaza stop, do the attacks of Hezbollah stop too? He said yes, because we got involved in this somehow because we wanted to defend the people of Palestine, and if they stop, we will stop too. The whole world witnessed that in about 6 days when there was this ceasefire, there was not even one bullet that was fired at Israel, and they were committed. They remain committed to the ceasefire. But in the last few days, something new happened. Since 2006, there was this unwritten agreement that the capitals in Beirut or Tel Aviv were not targeted. They were not targeting each other. But, Israel in Gaza has had no achievement but killing women and children. But Israel brought the war out of Gaza, and they assassinated one of the leaders of Hamas, not in Gaza, but in Beirut. So this has created a new situation. But definitely, if the genocidal war of the Israeli regime comes to a halt, then it can lead to the stop of other crises and attacks in other parts of the region against Israel. But we should not forget that today Lebanon is somehow involved in the war in the Red Sea also. And today we see that people in Gaza are under attacks and they are starving in Gaza and the West Bank. This means that the war will go on. So at any moment, it is possible that the severity and intensity of the war will rise. Netanyahu should understand that war is not the solution, and they are not going to destroy Hamas by continuing the war, and the Israelis prisoners will not be released if they continue the war. The solution is very clear: stopping the war, opening up the humanitarian corridors, and stopping the forced displacement of Palestinians towards the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt, and of course the exchange of prisoners. Today, the United States is more concerned about how they are going to run Gaza after the war, the post-war Gaza. But in our talks with the different various Palestinian leaders, there are some ideas there. The most democratic one is that all the Palestinian leaders, with all their viewpoints and differences of opinion, and having a referendum participated by the Palestinians in both Gaza and West Bank. And naturally, the resistance against occupation, according to what we have heard from the Palestinians, will continue their activities. But about the reinstitution of the rights of the Palestinians, it can be done in a democratic way, that is election under the supervision of the United Nations. But still, Netanyahu is under the impression that the solution lies in the war and continuing it, and they are, of course, relying upon the United States. All the leaders in our region believe that if the war stops today, 10 minutes later, Netanyahu will fall, and he won't be able to continue the war without the support of the United States. We believe that the political solution is something that everybody has to pay attention to, and we never believe that the war is the solution.